If you've ever wondered how all these other Destiny content creators make all these different builds, I'm going to show you how to do that for yourself today. And what's also going to be helpful about this too is even if you still go and watch these other creators' builds, this is going to be helpful for you to take their builds and either put your own spin on them or just do what you can with them. Because a lot of times us, serious, crazy, hardcore Destiny gamers that have thousands of hours on this game have tons of armor and stuff that not everybody has available to them. This is going to be helpful for you. Okay. So today I've got a friend with me. He's never made really a build of his own. He just uses whatever armor he's got. But this is the thing. There is a tool that is called D2 Armor Picker. You go to d2armorpicker.com. This tool is super insane. And today I'm going to show you how to use it because every content creator that makes builds, I guarantee you they use this website. So I'm going to pull up my friend's screen and I'm going to teach him how to do it live. And you're going to get to see this whole experience. So here we go. So you've never used Destiny 2 Armor Picker before?
No, and I'm really, really broke.
Oh, yeah. Sure, perfect. We're going to explain so many things. So first of all, I'm going to tell you some settings that I set up myself in the bottom section. So let's scroll down a little bit and a little bit more. Perfect. This is a mod section. Do you have Powerful Friends and Radiant Light?
Yeah.
Let's just click those. Yeah, click both of those mod slots. Yep, perfect. Now, let's go scroll down a little bit more to these advanced settings. Now, I'm going to pull up my own settings and then I'm going to tell you which ones I use. Okay. So now down here, yes, I allow the usage of armor that is non-exotic. And then you've got the assume all legendary items, assume all exotic items, assume all class items are masterworked. You can click all of that. Yep, you've got all those in. Next, I ignore armor elemental affinities. Click both of those. We don't, because the thing is, changing your elemental affinity costs nothing. And if we choose Powerful Friends and if we choose Radiant Light and you just have no arc armor, then it's just going to say you can't make these builds. So we just want to say ignore on those. Performance optimization, yep, click that. And then what I like to do is for the wasted stats section, I click show the wasted stats in an extra column. I like to do this to punish myself mentally, just to know how bad some of my builds are that I make. Let's go. We might end up having to click that tab that says only used already masterworked items, just because you can't actually masterwork anything. And you know what? You don't even have materials, right? So let's just click that one. Assume, the only use already masterworked items. Yeah, click that. And
I have 6 masterworked items.
Cool.
My collection.
Cool. All right, now let's scroll all the way up to the top. Now, the first thing that we got to know about our build is what exotic do we want to use? And so in this situation, let's just choose Eye of Another World, right? Because we want to make one of those stasis builds. Do you have a masterworked Eye of Another World?
No, it's not, man.
Okay, so this is what we'll actually do then, since you don't have the materials for it. And this is awesome. So anybody who you might not have materials, D2 Armor Picker can actually work with that. So let's actually scroll down to those options that we had below, and let's choose the only use masterworked. Yeah, and then let's also click the assume all exotic items are masterworked. We don't want that on anymore because we're gonna use Eye of Another World, and you don't have that masterworked. So let's go to the top. Yeah, perfect. It's already showing some builds. So you've clicked I have another world. Now, the next thing is we know that you want to use stasis, right?
Yeah.
So scroll down to the subclass options a little bit further. There we go. We're on stasis. So the ones that you're probably going to use is chains, conduction, and shards. So I'd click those 3 right there.
I only have three stasis fragments.
You know what? It's okay. We're just gonna click these
chains, but none of the other ones that boost stats.
Gotcha. Well, let's just do this for now because we know that you're gonna get these very soon. So, no, not bonds. Chains, conduction, and shards. Perfect. Okay. Now let's scroll to the top. Now, some of the things that we want for this build is we know we probably want at least 90 recovery. So let's just click the 9 on recovery and we'll see what this shortens it to. Okay. And then with this build also, we want at least 80 discipline. So let's click 80 discipline. And then we're also going to try, okay. So this is already giving us an idea of what we can do. We're going to want 60 strength as well, at least. So let's click the 6 on the strength, see what else this shortens us to.
Wow.
Okay, perfect. Hey, well, this is the build. This is with the armor that you have and everything. This is what we've got. Now, this is not terrible, okay? You know, and this is what you have for now. Now, another thing to know is how you can improve it, right? So you'll see at the right, there's that drop down arrow. Let's click that. It's in the list where it shows all your stats, and then there's a drop down arrow to the very right of it. It says wasted stats, and then there's an arrow.
Wasted.
You see where all the stats are? Resilience, all those, all the way at the right. There you go, boom, arrow. Now this shows you the armor that you're going to use, and it highlights it yellow if it's already masterworked. Now, you said, oh, now the downside of this though is we told it to assume that legendary stuff would be masterworked, and so it's going to assume that you're going to masterwork those 2 gloves, but you have no materials. So we actually have to go back one more step because you literally have no ascendant shards. Is that right?
Yeah, I just.
Oh yeah,
spent my last.
Yeah, you literally have none. Okay, so let's
I have. This is slightly inaccurate because I have enhancement.
No worries. So let's just drop down the stats of those a little bit up there, and then we'll go down and we'll select a different thing. Just drop them down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then let's go back down to a little bit further. Okay. We're not going to assume all legendary items are masterworked. Yeah, just click that. Okay. This is just what we've got to do. This is what you've got, and that's okay. Now let's scroll up to the top again. Now let's see what we can do. Okay, let's put discipline back to 80 and strength to 60. See if we can do that still. All right, and then you can get resilience to 90. That's sure, yeah, let's do that. And okay, so you've got a lot of intellect. So unfortunately, intellect isn't super valuable, but for right now, this is what you can make. So let's click this drop down arrow over there, and then it'll show you the armor pieces you're going to use. What it's also going to show you is what mods you're going to need to put in there. You're going to need to put 2 recovery mods, 2 discipline mods, and 1 strength mod in order to make this build. So if you open up in another tab, Destiny Item Manager, perfect. So what you can do is, go back to D2 Armor Picker, and there's this button that says Equip Items Beta. It's just below Open Load. Yeah, perfect. If you click that, then it'll spin these little loading things, and it'll give you a check mark if it has been able to actually literally equip these items.
Yeah, I have Destiny open on a different monitor. And
oh, no worries, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So yeah, so then if you go to D2 or Destiny Item Manager, you can hit refresh on this possibly, just to make sure that it gets that change made. And yeah, so you could go in game right now and you could equip all the appropriate mods you needed, and then in Destiny Item Manager, you would have you made a loadout in there before? Yeah. Oh, well, not even over. You don't even need to go over here actually. Yeah, if you just go to your inventory, just hit the ... that's next to your Warlock's banner. Yeah, and then hit create loadout. It's one of those top options. There you go. Then at the bottom left of this, it says fill in using equipped. Boom, you can hit that. And then usually what I do here is for the weapons and the general, I hit that ... and then say remove all. Yeah, because I just don't want it to put those on every time I do this. And it'll even save your mods too. So obviously right now you don't have all the exact mods you need on, but also if you set up the fashion for this, then you can click that choose fashion button in your armor section, and just below the stats in your armor down there in the build. Yeah, there you go. Click that. And then you can say use equipped fashion and then save fashion. And then it'll, you can also just sit there and it knows what shaders and stuff you had too. So you could like actually hypothetically go in here and choose the ornaments for each of these and like have it save it. And then even if you used these armor pieces on other builds with certain looks and shaders, whenever you clicked on this build, Destiny Item Manager will equip the shader, equip the ornament, all of the stuff, which is super sick. And it knows the fragments and everything that you chose with your subclass. So you could literally have it save all of this. So this is really how you do it. Now, just curious, do you have Ophidian aspects as well?
I do, yes.
Are they masterworked?
No, but they're at 9.
Oh yeah, and then you know what? It doesn't even matter because you know what? Let's go make a. First of all, I mean, I guess you should probably go in game and apply those couple mods that that D2 armor picker told you. So you got to do two recovery, 2 grenade, 1 strength. So yeah, I'll just take a moment here. I'll just drink some water while you apply whatever mods you gotta do.
Wait, where do you see what mods? Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, down there. Yeah, so it'll tell you if they're major mods or minor mods, meaning if they're a 10 stat mod or a 5 stat mod. So, because some of these builds, yeah, you're only gonna need a 5 stat mod, but not even just that. You can, and I'll give an example. I'll show you my build. I'll share my screen too and let you see how I crafted my build that I was using today, because I needed very specific energy in each of my slots, and so I customized D2 armor picker to understand that, and it allowed me to make the build that I'm using today. And also I'll show you that once you're all ready.
Can I put on like radiant light and stuff?
Yeah. So what I do is because of just how unflinching mods work and a lot of this, I usually put radiant. Well, oh, and your chest is fully masterworked. Cool. So with a fully masterworked chest, obviously you have 10 energy. I like to put a 3 energy stat mod in there, and then I like to put radiant light in there, which leaves me 4 energy in the middle, which is perfect for if you're playing PvE, you get your damage resist mods in there, or if you're playing PvP, you can fit most unflinching mods in there, like hand cannon, pulse, all that stuff. But hand cannon costs 4, which is especially why I do that. And then usually because in PvP, there's not much use for most of the boot mods, I put my most expensive stat mod in my boot, which is usually recovery, which costs 4, and then I put powerful friends in there, but your boots are currently void, so they'd have to be arc, and powerful friends costs 4, and so that's usually what I use my boot mods for. Now, also curious, do you have the mod quick charge?
Yep.
Heck yeah. So if you end up being able to have an upgrade module or whatever, and you can change the energy of your boots, you could also have an arc class item, and you could put a recovery mod on your class item, or actually you could put a discipline mod in your class item. You could put outreach, a 2 cost mod on your class item, and then you could use quick charge, which costs 5, and put that on your class item, and that would max out your class item. And that quick charge gives you plus about 25 handling to shotguns, fusion rifles, and SMGs, which is really nice.
In place of Ophidians, so I'm not using.
Well, and you could literally use it on top of Ophidians, which is what I'm doing. It's crazy. I'll have to show you what my build looks like after this too. It's so good. It's so crazy. Normally, I'm almost always using a stasis class item because I just love the class ability kickstart, the utility kickstart mods. But unfortunately, there's not too much of a use of the rest of the energy in that, other than just putting a high energy fire in there and being like, maybe I'll get charged with light at some point.
Okay.
Cool. Did you got all your mods set up in game?
Yep, I have 40 mobility, 70 resilience, 80 discipline and recovery. And
Cool. Yeah, because you still didn't have some of those aspects yet, which is fine. Then, not the aspects, the fragments. But let's go to Destiny Item Manager now. So yeah, click over there, hit refresh on this so that just make sure that it knows what mods you got equipped and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
save it as a loadout.
Yeah, and then hit the ... and create a loadout, fill in using equipped at the bottom left, and then get rid of the weapons and get rid of the general area. Yep. And you could even put, if you needed to, I mean, you don't need to do this now, but you could put unflinching mods and everything in that, reloader mods, targeting mods, all that. But if you don't want to do that now, totally fine. You can just, name your loadout. You can just say, usually what I like to do is I name my loadouts with the exotic first, because usually that's going to be the, I when I'm looking for a build, like I know what the exotic is. And so I want to see what that is. And then if it's for PvP or PvE, then I'll say that next. And then a lot of the times after that, if I really want to get crazy, is I'll basically kind of list out the stats. But like, for example, I'd be like 4/7/8/8/4/6, because like that's what your tiers of stats are. But you don't have to do that. You can literally just do this, and that's good enough for you. I have like a million builds, so that's why I name mine a little bit like that. So then at the very bottom left of this whole black tab, yep, you got save. You can hit that, boom, that's saved. Now, let's try to get you an Ophidian build as well.
Okay.
So let's go, back to D2 Armor Picker. We're gonna zero out all those stats again real quick. Or you can hit that clear. Yep, the clear button's perfect. Now let's click on the Ophidian armor piece. Perfect. Now,
I only have one Ophidian, so
now what do you want to use stasis for this too?
If I'm doing Ophidians, I'd probably be using solar, but I can do stasis.
What do you want to do for now for this build? I guess choose solar.
Solar the most.
Yeah, and then choose whatever, like if you need to check in game what fragments you're using and everything.
Forgot how to
it's right there. It's right there. Yeah. Yep.
I have all the solar fragments. That one.
Well, I mean, like, do you know which ones you're using though, in game, or which ones you want to use, and if any of them, you're probably almost always using searing. I'm pretty sure, right? I mean, or maybe not always, but
pretty much always.
Yeah, I mean, I would just check in game and see what your solar subclass is and what fragments you're using, and see if there are any of the ones that adjust stats. Whatever ones you're using to boost stats, click those, and then let's go up to the top. Now, we're probably gonna want to. How I usually start out my stat distribution is I start with recovery, and then I go to discipline, because in the top half, for me, the most important thing is recovery, and in the bottom half, the most important thing to me is discipline. So I want to start out with the most important thing, which is like, I want 90. I want at least 90. I want 100, but if I start out with 90, because, perfect. That's fine. Because another thing to know for the abilities down below is for super, you really want your super to be between tier 3 and tier 5. So I usually choose like 3. Yeah. Because like 3 is great. But if my super ends up going up to 4 or 5, I'm okay with that. Another thing to know is that you get a pretty significant boost to your discipline and strength when you go from tier 5 to tier 6, but not so much at 7 and not so much at 90. So usually you're going to want your discipline and strength to either be at 60, 80, or 100. So yeah, let's do that. Let's hit 60 there. Perfect. Okay. Let's put your resilience as high as it can go now that it's giving us that option. All right. Well, this is your build already. It's showing this is your build that you've got over here at the right. And what's cool is it allows you to only need to use a minor recovery mod. Now, just to be curious, so you'll notice right here in this column, it says tiers. It shows you the total number of stats you got, which is 38. Just for fun, let's click your recovery down to 90 and see what options that opens up for us. Okay. Not a ton, but this is, let's stop right here for a second. So what I like to do is you can sort these columns of stats. So click on the word tiers over in the right column where it's showing all the builds. It says, yeah, right after strength, it says tiers.
Yep.
Yeah, click on the word tiers and then click it one more time. Now, the top one it's going to show you is whatever build can get you the most stats, because that's the thing that you filtered it by. And so this is the one. And what's really cool about this build is it's going to use 2 different minor mods in order to get this. But what is this got it on? 80 resilience. You know what? Let's actually click. I think we do want the 100 recovery. So let's click on the 100 recovery. This build's gonna go away, and that's fine. So yeah, click that now. These are your armor pieces. You got to put on 3 full power recovery mods, 1 half power, and then a full power discipline in order to get all of these. Oh yeah, you want to, click, equip items. Yeah, there you go. And then same thing as before. In game, you're going to want to make sure you choose your solar subclass. Make sure you have the appropriate, all the fragments that you told it that you were going to put on. And then also, we're still having this consider powerful friends and radiant light, because we never unchecked those. So make sure you apply those, apply the rest of these mods, and then you'll be able to refresh Destiny Item Manager and make another loadout. So if you're not completely excited about the builds that you're able to make, or let's say whatever builds you were able to make, you would like to have different stats in different columns, you would like certain things to be better in your opinion, what you want to do is just look at the armor that you have that made however you were able to make it as best as you could. Look at those armor pieces and see what stats they have in them that are stopping you from getting the stats you want. So for example, with this build, in my opinion, I would really like to get the discipline and strength both up to at least 80, which means that we need less intellect in our armor pieces. And so what you'd want to do is look at your armor pieces and consider how much of that stat they have, so that you can know as you're getting armor pieces in the future, or if you're focusing engrams at that helm, you know what stats you want to go for, and you'll have a better idea of what armor pieces you want to keep, because you're going to know, hey, this build, I was forced to have 60 intellect, but so I want to keep armor that has less intellect but more stats in discipline and strength, and then just keep piling those up in your vault, and make sure you're doing nightfalls, especially master or grandmaster nightfalls, during double loot weeks, so that you can get more ascendant shards, more enhancement prisms, so that you'll be able to eventually masterwork your pieces that you really like for builds that are exactly how you want them to be. Because like right now, this build's gonna work, right? It's gonna be fine. And it's not perfect, so you didn't even want to spend materials on it anyways. But thanks to D2 Armor Picker, you didn't have to figure out all the math yourself to get the stats as high as you wanted them. Ophidian. You could even say like Ophidian, solar, PvP solar or whatever, yeah. And then the save button at the bottom left, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna hit this stop watching, and then I'm gonna show you mine. So this is how I made my build. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn a bunch of this off, reset all these. This is sitting on my Titan. So I follow a Destiny content creator known as Cammy Cakes. He's a really awesome PvP gamer. Lots of thoughtful commentary, thoughtful build ideas, and a really strong player, really strong, powerful player. I saw a video from him today talking about a build that he was planning on using for trials, and I've seen him do similar things to this before, but he's using Stasis Warlock, and so I didn't check the video to see if he really showed the details of the build. He might have showed it at the end of the video, but I didn't get to that part. I already had an idea from just watching a little bit of it. I was like, yes, that's right. I remember this type of stuff. I want to do this too. And so we're going to put on Powerful Friends. We're going to put on Radiant Light. I'm going to be using Stasis. And I knew I was going to be using Chains, Conduction, and Shards. Now, whenever I want to, he was using Stasis turrets, but I knew I wasn't going to, so I don't know if he was using Durance or not, but Durance is great if you're using Stasis turrets because it says slow from your abilities last longer, and it understands that Stasis turrets create slowing effects, so it allows your Stasis turrets to last longer. So if I was going to use that, I would click this, but I know that I wasn't because I wanted to keep Ice Flare Bolts, and I wanted to use Frost Pulse, which makes it so I freeze people when I use my Rift. And I'm just going to use Empowering Rift because that animation is slightly faster, which means I freeze people slightly faster. So this was all a part of my plan. The purpose of this build was to be as agile as possible. I needed the focus was really kind of on the guns, handling, and having these quick stasis abilities to do a freeze. So I knew I was going to use Ophidians. We click on Ophidians. Because I have so many materials and everything, I do have it just saying assume everything is masterworked, because if it wasn't masterworked, I'm going to be able to masterwork it if the build is good enough, if it really gets to where I want it to. Then the first thing I did is I wanted my recovery to be max, so I hit 100 recovery. The next thing was I wanted to see if I could have 100 discipline. We click this, perfect. The next thing I wanted to do is I was like, okay, let's see about 80 strength maybe. Okay. Now, let's see. We want 100 resilience. Oh, here's the other thing is I need to rewind just a little bit because this is the thing. This is the part that I haven't shown you yet. Okay. I knew a few things. So I knew what mods I wanted in my specific armor pieces, which was going to limit me to the type of mods that I could actually put in my armor. Because I remember when I started making this earlier, I was like, okay, wow, I can get 100 discipline. I can get all these things. But then I saw that I needed I needed recovery mods and whatnot. And I was like, okay, I need to go back and I need to figure this out, because I knew that in my class item, I was going to use quick charge, which is going to use 5 energy. And I knew that I wanted to also be able to use the outreach mod in there, which is going to cost 2. So I needed to limit this to being only able to use 3 or less energy mods. So I click, so you'll see as I'm hovering over this, it changes what mods can be used in here. And so if I click all the way over here, no mods. If I click right here on this fourth one, I can only use 1 energy mods for stats. But what I'm telling it is I can use 3 or less. So I got to click on this. That means I can't put full power recovery, and I can't put a full power intellect. The next thing I did is I knew that for my middle, for my chest, I knew I was going to have Radiant Light in there, and I knew I was going to have Unflinching Hand Cannon, which is going to be 7 energy yet again, which means I needed to limit this to only having 3 cost or less stat mods. And then for my arms and my helmet, even worse, because I wanted hand cannon targeting and shotgun targeting, which was going to cost me 8 energy in my helmet. So I knew I could only have 2 cost or less. So I had to click this third one so that it would put this into its calculations. 2 cost or 1 cost stat mods. And then for my arms, I on top of my Ophidians, I wanted shotgun dexterity mod, which costs 5, and I wanted a hand cannon dexterity, which is going to cost 3. So that's 8 yet again, which means I have to click this this little button right here too to limit this as well. So with this, I could have 100 discipline and 30 intellect, 80 strength, and this would be my build right here already. Like it figured it all out. I've got a minor shotgun, or a minor strength, a minor discipline mod, and then this one recovery mod I'm gonna have to put in my boots because it's the only place that it can fit. And then I'll be able to, and then this is already showing me all of its masterworked, and then I just hit equip and I'd make all of these changes. Now, the build that I think I ended up going with is, I think I went with 80 discipline, 90 recovery. Yes, because this was the other thing. Let's go back just a second. So if I do this, cool. Let's see, what do we got? If I do 100 discipline, the total stats I can get is 42, which is fine. It's actually great. And this is really, really strong. Nothing wrong with me doing this build. But I like optimizing my stats as much as I can. And the difference between 8 and 100 for my dusk filled is only 7 seconds. If I hover over this, so I'm at 8. If I hover over 10, you'll see down here at the bottom, it shows that the difference between 8 and 10 for my dusk filled, which is a tier 8 grenade, is 7 seconds, which isn't that big of a deal to me. So I put it down to 8. And then I was like, instead, let's get up to 9 resilience. Because really, originally, I wanted 100 resilience. I wanted 100 recovery, 100 discipline. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that happen. So this is what we've got instead. And because I didn't care of the 3-second difference of putting my discipline from 8 to 9, instead I was like, let's go with a little bit more intellect, especially because this is a super with slow super recharge. And then we've got the 40 mobility, which gave me an extra tier overall of stats, putting me at 43. And then I clicked through this. I saw this one required me to need, so all of these are my options. These are all going to do the same thing. They're all getting me all these builds. So I clicked through to see if I had any that were fully masterworked already, and boom, this one, everything's fully masterworked. I hit equip, and then I went in game, applied all my mods, and now I've got the super speeds with all the handling, and I've got the build that I was wanting to make, or the best that I could make it.
So why does it present so many options? Why doesn't it just give you one, like, of the best one?
For me?
Well, yeah, because you have like
it's showing me these 5 different things.
That armors. Well,
so what it's doing is with all these options. So like if I click mobility down 1, it's showing me everything. It literally knows everything that I have in my vault. And then when I click on this one, it's saying that these are, like, with all of the armor that's in my vault, these are the combinations of armor that will make this exact build. And so it's just doing that because it's not going to know what is the best. It's just doing math. So based on math, it's saying these are the combinations that you can choose. And then it's up for me to decide what matters most, because before I told it to assume everything's masterworked, but if instead I said only use already masterworked items, then that's going to cut literally everything down to it has to be this build, it looks like. Okay. So it's just based on the options that I've chose. It's doing all the math for me and showing me these are the possibilities. So I can use all these different combos that most of them look like they end up needing me to masterwork a helmet. That one has a chest that I'd have to masterwork. This one has a different chest I'd have to masterwork. But which one is it? This one, everything's already masterworked, and I don't want to spend materials if I don't have to. So, and then I've got this.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And honestly, I am at the point, because of how used to this I've gotten, I'm at the point where, man, if D2 armor picker ceased to exist, it would be so much harder for me to play Destiny 2. Not that I would quit, but man, I would have to just change my mindset so hardcore. I would have to just probably end up not caring about almost any armor that dropped in the future, because I would just not want to deal with trying to do the math and the builds all on myself, figured everything out, what combinations. I would just have to rely on whatever loadouts I've already saved and be like, this is my armor for the rest of time. I can't be bothered to try to do such hardcore math, because like you saw from this example right here, I literally told it all of the specific things of like, I need to use all these specific mods, and this is the only one that could do that of all of my armor pieces to get exactly what I wanted. And it just saves you so much time. And what's funny too,
to look through to find those manually.
yeah, exactly, because also I'm a cycle that just has so much armor, and like I would just have to literally look through everything, click, and be like, okay, this one has 23 base recovery helmet. Okay, what can I combine that with? Okay, 23, and then this one has 12, so we're at what, 35. And then I'd have to, and man, it'd just be so much work to try to manually do all that. And it just saves you so much time. It's amazing. And a stream, hey, this is a YouTube video. This isn't a stream. I tricked myself. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you'd like to see some builds or have me break down how I got to some of my builds, let me know in the comments. Be like, hey, Travi, do you have a build for this exotic or this type of thing? How would you make that? I'd be happy to make any type of videos around that, because Destiny 2 armor picker, oh, it's one of my favorite things. I honestly, I count this as playing Destiny 2. And I play a lot of Destiny 2 on this website. So thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next video.